fans, hope you're whelmed. I know a lot of people don't normally associate the creature collecting genre with coziness, but I spent most of my holiday absolutely obsessed with them, and I found 6 indie games I want to tell you about. I'm not someone who enjoys combat in games, whether it's turn-based or not, but these have elements that balance out the fighting, turning them into truly cozy pastimes. That being said, 4 of the 6 do feature turn-based combat in some capacity. The other 2 are probably the most chill options on the list. They're still included in Steam's creature collector tag, so there's some wiggle room here. Plus, another one is more about monster raising than anything else. I think I managed to find something cozy for everyone. I organized everything from the lowest to the highest price point this time, so let's get started. If No Plot, Just Vibes had a category at the Game Awards, our first game would be a strong contender. Pipkin is a Halloween-themed creature collector that has less narrative backbone than a boiled noodle, but I'm currently obsessed with it anyway. We're talking I had to force myself to stop playing around midnight, and when I woke up, I was strategizing about how to beat the first big boss kind of obsession, so it doesn't need a narrative to keep players hooked. It doesn't matter who you are or why you're catching Pipkin, it just matters that you're there. There is some pretty basic character customization, and if you want the white-haired witchy tamer you saw in the trailer, or another one of the dev's custom characters, there's a bunch of codes to choose from. Also, there are over 50 on-theme Pipkin to discover, each with their own unique abilities and appearance. I'm surprised by how much I enjoy Bandanet, the poisonous nature snake Pipkin. I'm not typically a fan of serpents, but Bandanet and Zomer, a zombie dog, have saved my team more than once when paired together. The turn-based combat is fairly straightforward, so if you struggle with memorizing type charts and classes, this might be a good entry point to the genre, as it's simple and streamlined. Not to mention, some elements of gameplay rely on you to use your noodle. I can't elaborate too much on that because I literally just took down the first boss's team and wasn't recording, but situational awareness is key. Sometimes it's not the monsters you bring to the battle, it's how you shape the battleground that matters. This is really adorable and weirdly addictive, and I'm happy I started 2026 off by playing Pipkin. For $13.99, it's well worth the price of admission. Next up, if you were hooked on the Monster Rancher games as a kid, but nothing scratching that itch as an adult, try Mamon King. Seriously, I think this is the first time I've ever gotten to use the words, "this game is a Monster Rancher-like," but that's still true. Set in a fantasy world ruled by the Mamon King, your dear monarch realizes his time is running short and has decreed that anyone who can challenge and beat his Mammon is going to become his successor. You'll start off by summoning your very own monster. As far as I can tell, this process is randomized with different Mammon popping out each time. And then you will take it back to your homestead and pour your whole entire heart into raising this monster, by using a deck of cards to decide what you're doing that week. If all this sounds confusing, don't worry, you'll be picking a character to guide you at the beginning of the game, with the other one becoming your rival for the title of Mamon King. The point of the game is obviously to challenge the Mamon King, but it makes it clear that unless you're an expert, this probably won't be happening with your first monster. That's right. Because reality doesn't hurt enough already, just like in Monster Rancher, the Mammon have a life cycle. In Monster Rancher, when the sun is about to set on your monster, you can either let nature take its course, or bring it in to be frozen and then combine it with another monster to create something new. But in Mamon King, when monsters are getting long in the tooth, your guide will let you know so you can decide whether to seal them into a card or not. You can bring that card to the summoning altar and use it on your new monster, giving it a much needed boost. Theoretically, of course. I haven't gotten there yet, and despite my attempts to avoid attachment, well, that obviously didn't work, because I'm me and of course it didn't. I have, however, run through an entire year across 2 save files, climbed to rank D in the tournament system, and learned about the different ways you can interact with your monster. I really love the way the game works because the weekly calendar is jam-packed with things to do. Either way, you'll be preparing for the grind, but there's always a big enough piece of carrot to stop you from complaining about the sharpness of the stick. For example, Regular training sessions are interspersed with more intense rounds of boot camp training, which net more experience and can even result in spontaneous battles with your rival. You can learn new moves, which you'll equip later, and some of them are genuinely amazing when you're just starting out. Twice a year, you'll have the option to go on a voyage with your Mamon, which has been turned into a clever board game, the results of which can be good or bad with minimal player interaction since it's up to chance and a roll of the dice. Occasionally, you'll be asked if you want to send your Mamon to work to earn money that you can use to buy special items from the merchant. Plus, between training, grazing, and resting, your Mamon can participate in training bouts, little mini tournaments to raise one stat and earn prize money. Your guide will warn you if your stats aren't high enough to participate, but you can ignore those. And if you're bored of the battling and just want to get back to raising your stats quickly, you can have your Mamon handle the small stuff. I love this game. I'm really surprised Steam recommended this to me, but I'm happy it did because now I get to share it with you. I still can't believe my fierce warrior, Firefang, has been outclassed by a floppy-eared little guy named Cheesebat, but Mamon King is full of surprises, and it will keep you entertained. I probably would have been happy to pay double what it actually costs. $16.99 for something soaked in nostalgia that has no intention to exploit me with an endless stream of DLC or a subscription? That's the kind of thing that makes me want to buy an endless stream of DLC, and for what it's worth, I hope Mamon King gets at least one. Okay, I get it. Mamon King won't be for everyone, especially if you're not trying to have an existential crisis while you play through cozy games. As a peace offering, can I tell you about the next game? It's a gentle Pokemon Snap tribute, except it's like if Pokemon Snap was dreamt up by a group of bored Hot Topic employees in 2006. Penko Park would be the result. That's a good thing, I promise. The atmosphere alone makes it worth the price. Plus, it's the only game on the list with no health bar. When you're in Penko Park, your only job is to sit back, relax, and snap photos of the mysterious creatures you find within its biomes. As you progress, by taking the best quality photos you can, you'll earn new perks which will directly affect your tour and your experience in the park. There's not much to say beyond that, but I think if you're looking for a game you can play while you keep one ear on your favorite podcast, Penko Park is the obvious cozy choice. Number 4 is arguably the weirdest game on this list, and definitely the one I have the least experience with. Cassette Beasts is a monster taming role-playing game that sees you stranded in a world outside of Earth and potentially outside of time. I bought this during the winter sale, and I will admit, I have no idea what I'm doing, but the plot makes me want to figure it out and keep playing. In the world of Cassette Beasts, you record the essence of monsters onto cassette tapes and then play the tapes to transform yourself into those monsters so you can battle inexplicable wild beasts and gain strength as you desperately search for a way back home. At least I think that's what's happening. Don't take my word for it, guys. I'm figuring it out as I go. But finer battle mechanics aside, you'll meet similarly stranded NPCs who will become members of your party and battle with you. The coolest part about this is definitely the fact that when the time is right, you can fuse your beast with your partners to fend off bigger threats. Honestly, Cassette Beasts is a lot more complicated than I was expecting, with an entire elemental type chart that looks a lot like homework to my brain. But the challenge is what makes it so rewarding. The team really went all in with the vintage themes, the grander story is intriguing enough that I want to forge ahead despite my own incompetence, and it's made clear pretty early that your bonds with your fellow humans are at the heart of Cassette Beasts. Also, the art style is gorgeous. Even though I've barely started my journey in New World, I can see why so many players hype this one up. Will I be the very best like no one ever was? Probably not, but I'm going to have tons of fun, so that works out. Next up is a game you've probably heard of before. I was searching the Creature Collector tag on Steam during the winter sale, and Slime Rancher and its sequel, Slime Rancher 2, were bundled together at a sweet discount. Honestly, I don't know what they were doing alongside games like Nexomon and Mamon King, but I'll allow it, especially because it's great for casual players. Hey, hi, it's me. I'm the casual player. I feel like everyone and their grandma has praised Slime Rancher's merits, but if you haven't heard of it before, it's a literal creature collector. You play as Beatrix, a young rancher who has voluntarily gone to space, traveling to the far, far range to become a slime rancher. It's relaxing, it's colorful, and again, it is a literal creature collector. You'll be using your backpack to hoover up all sorts of adorable slimes, bring them back to your ranch, and domesticate them to farm their waste, called plort, for currency you can use to upgrade your ranch. Also, I'm using trailer footage because I forgot to record when I played, but also, Slime Rancher is a game I'm going to have to spend a lot more time with. It encourages you to explore and figure things out as you go along, though if you're like me and you just want to dive into playing the game, don't worry, the wiki exists, so you can enjoy the vibes and know what you're doing. For the record, I do have TARS, the hurtful slimes, enabled, but you just need some water to get them off your case. And if you don't want them to be part of your slime ranching life, you can play on casual mode. The last game on the list is one I've talked about a lot over the last year. Magica is a surprisingly successful mix of farming sims like Fields of Mystria and classic creature collectors like Pokemon, except you'll be exploring the vivid world of Clovertown with your team of blobs. Everything you love about your favorite farming sims is here, including a robust social system with 13 marriage candidates, a museum, and quests that expand the town. And everything you love about your favorite creature collectors is here too, including randomly generated blob worlds to explore and breeding different blobs to come up with totally unique hybrids that have special ability. Honestly, Magica was the game that inspired this video, and I've been playing it so much recently. I even started a new save and set my days to be 15 minutes long, so I'm only in fall of my first year right now, but I'm having a blast. This game is jam-packed with things to do and a plethora of little details. It's still in early access right now, which is shocking because of how polished it already is. The 1.0 beta is currently being rigorously tested to make sure it's ready and stable for its launch, wherein it will roll out on the Switch as well. There are other quality of life improvements planned for full access as well, like a larger amount of stamina for the player character, and another simple recipe that can be made in early game, when funds and resources are scarce. This is one of the best early access experiences I've ever had, and you can see just how much effort, care, and genuine love the dev team has put into Magica. I hope that it continues to get that same level of TLC after its official debut, and I'd really recommend this to people who love farming sims, people who aren't sure if they like farming sims or creature collectors, or people who want a relaxed, engaging entry point for both, as it offers the perfect balance. Everyone. I recommend this for pretty much everyone. The only drawback is the price, but you can scoop it up during a sale, and honestly, it's worth every penny of its price tag. So, those are all 6 of my cozy creature collector recommendations, and now I'm curious. Do you have any creature collectors that you think I would absolutely love? Drop them down in the comments and let me know what you love about them. Also, let me know what games you're playing. January is looking a little sparse for new releases, and I'm always on the lookout for something new. If you made it this far, thanks so much. If you liked this, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and hitting the bell icon if you want to see more content like this. I hope you're playing something you can recommend to all your friends, and I'll see you next time!